المشاهدين أهلا ومرحبا بكم. مدينة ديربون هي ثاني أكبر مدن مقاطعة وين، كبرى مقاطعات ولاية ميشيغان 82 وسكانها من العرب الأمريكيين. استطاعوا وضعها على خارطة العالم. هم يشكلون نحو 40% من عدد السكان في هذه المدينة التي وفدت إليها طلائع المهاجرين في بدايات القرن الماضي، وساهموا في تقويتها وتمتينها والحفاظ على مكانتها كإحدى أهم المدن التجارية الاقتصادية والثقافية في الولاية، إلى أن أصبحت تعرف بعاصمة العرب الأمريكيين. ليس أمريكي ميشيغان فقط، بل في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية وأيضا حول العالم. من بين الشخصيات الذين يصنعون حاضر ومستقبل المدينة السيدة سوزان دباجه، رئيسة المجلس البلدي في ديربورن. طبعا سجل ضيفتي السيدة سوزان دباجه حافل بالإنجازات والنشاطات منذ تخرجها من الجامعة وحصولها على إجازة الحقوق، وأصبحت محامية وانتخبت عضو في مجلس بلدي المدينة مدينة ديربون. وبنشاطاتها المميزة أصبحت رئيس المجلس الذي يضم 3 أعضاء آخرين من شخصيات الجالية العربية الأمريكية. وسمعت مؤخرا أن حاكمة الولاية اختارت سوزان لتكون عضو أو member of the board of directors of the Community Stabilization Authority Council. قائمة الإنجازات والنشاطات والنجاحات للسيدة سوزان دباجة طويلة ويصعب التحدث عنها في هذه العجالة. I would like to warmly welcome the President of the City of Dearborn City Council, Mrs. Susan Dabaja. I would like to warmly welcome you.
Thank you, William, for having me.
Thank you. بداية سوزان، خلينا نحكي عن دور رئيس المجلس, the role of the President of the City Council، أو قبل ذلك قبل أن نتحدث عن مهام ومسؤوليات رئيس المجلس البلدي. شو رأيك نسمع وجهة نظرك ورأيك أولا في الإدارة الأمريكية الجديدة للرئيس الجديد جو بايدن ونائب الرئيس كاميلا هاريس، وهي تسجل كما تعلمي سابقة لأول امرأة تحتل هذا المنصب الهام. كيف كان شعورك أولا كسياسية كرئيسة للمجلس بلدي ديربون وكامرأة عربية أمريكية؟
Thank you, William. معلش إذا جاوبت شوي بالإنجليزي بجرب جاوب شوي بالعربي. بس بالنسبة لي I do feel that having a new president and a vice president in place is a great thing. And for me, what was important, irrespective whether you agree with the politics of the previous president, President Trump, or not, what's important is that there is respect and professionalism and a treatment of equality. فإذا عم تسألني كامرأة عربية بيهمني كتير إنه أول شيء بيهمني ولادي. You know, my children are Arab Americans, and I think in the last 4 years, you know, we felt that we are being singled out and targeted among other groups as well. And so, again, I'm not going to talk about the public specific decisions or public policy, but definitely now I feel that at least we have an opportunity for a president to represent us that will lead us with respect, with the dignity that the office of president deserves. And I'm very happy to hear that on day one of his presidency, that President Biden had, you know, done away with the Muslim travel ban.
Sure.
You know, just to put that target on countries specifically because of a single religion is just unfair and not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of having the first female vice president, you know, I'm very excited about that fact because obviously now it allows all females, young or old, to realize that we can continue to reach for these higher positions and positions of leadership that have always been previously occupied by men. And this is an opportunity for girls to see that it can be done by them as well.
Great. لابد أيضا أن أسألك ست سوزان دباجة قبل ما نتحدث عن الموضوع الأساسي عن كيفية ربما تعامل بلدية ديربون أو مدينة ديربون بشكل عام مع التحدي الكبير المتمثل بالكوفيد 19. ما هو موقع ديربون مقارنة مع بقية مدن ولاية ميشيغان، خاصة المدن الكبيرة زي يعني بحجم مدينة ديربون؟ ما هو حجم توفر الفاكسين لمواطني ديربون؟
Okay, good question, William. Dearborn is the number 2 largest city in the county of Wayne after Detroit.
Sure.
Well, Dearborn, we have a lot of resources. Alhamdulillah. يعني الطريقة that our government works, we've been able to secure a lot of resources, a lot of grants, for example, for businesses. For right now, we're going to be rolling out with Access and the Lebanese American Heritage Club, our LAHC, program for residents that are having a difficulty paying their mortgage bills or their rent in order to be able to avoid eviction in the future. In terms of the vaccine specifically, كان عندنا meeting من يومين واكشلي كنا عم نحكي بالنسبه لهالشغله specifically. Our fire department has been working to be prepared and certified and have the resources necessary so that when the vaccines are made available to us, we're able to vaccinate our fire department, our firefighters, our police officers, and then also move quickly to our seniors. يعني الناس اللي كبار بالعمر لحتى نعطيهم الفاكسين. يعني اشتروا الفريزرز. They've been getting them training, and they have been working with the state and the Wayne County Health Department. I mean, we're doing everything necessary so that we're ready once the vaccines are available to us.
So as of yet, Suzan, none of the citizens of Dearborn vaccinated yet?
No, absolutely. There have been. There's a good, absolutely. Right now, individuals that have been eligible to become vaccinated based on the state's phases are getting vaccinated. We already have a lot of healthcare professionals that have been vaccinated.
Okay. Those who are over 65 or 75
and older. We've been working with and we've been communicating constantly with like Beaumont Health Department or Beaumont Medical to ensure that our residents are able to get that vaccination when it's available to them. The other thing I just want to mention, في ناس انه ما يعني لنقول الكبار بالعمر 65 وبالطالع بيطلعوا لهم الفاكسين بس ممكن ما يكون عندهم طريقه ليوصلوا للميديكال appointment. نحن we have a smart busing system here made for our seniors.
Sure.
If they contact the city, it's basically $1 each trip. So $1 to go to the hospital, $1 to come back. For $2, we will transport our residents, our seniors, to get the vaccination.
So these expenses will be paid by the city?
No, the vaccination is actually free.
I'm talking about the transportation.
The transportation, all we do is charge $2 for a round trip.
Okay.
And the rest of the cost is covered by the city.
Okay.
وبس لك ويليام هالشغله مش بس هلا يعني وقت الفاكسينيشن، هالشغله موجوده على طول. بس في ناس للاسف يمكن بفتكر انه الناس الارب امريكان سينيورز ما بيعرفوا فيها كثير.
Sure.
فانا I always try to encourage people to know that because في ناس ما بيسوقوا بدهم يتكلوا على ابنهم بنتهم او حدا ياخذهم بس في طريقه it's a bus it'll pick you up and take you to where you need to be, a medical appointment, and bring you back.
Sure. I'm sure that you know that there are hunger for information in our community at large, not only in the city of Dearborn, especially among the newcomers, old people, children, and what have you. نعود الآن لمهام, the responsibilities and duties of the city council president. You are assuming this position for few years. Can you shed some light about this particular position? What is it exactly that you do?
Sure, absolutely. So 7 years ago, I started my role as a council president. وفي ناس كتير بيسألوا إذا أنت رئيسة المجلس البلدي معناته إنه أنت عندك قوة أو إنه صوتك أقوى من صوت الست اللي are my colleagues on council, because نحن we're a council of 7 members. No, my vote is equal to everybody else's vote. But what I'm responsible for is I'm responsible to chair the meetings, meaning I run the meetings. So obviously if someone wants to speak, I have to give them permission. I'm the one that kind of dictates how those meetings are run. In addition, I work closely with the mayor and the department heads to communicate things between the council and the mayor's administration. Also, we do have our council office, our department. So as the council president, I'm responsible for the staff that works in our office. So hiring and firing, making sure that things are being done, communicating with the public, communicating with the administration, and ensuring that there is a nice flow of information going back and forth as it needs to. But essentially, that's my role, setting meeting schedules, dates and times. So if a meeting is going to be set, I would be the one to schedule that meeting. And a lot of times people ask me, إذا في شغلة بدها تنحط على الأجندة to be discussed with the city council. فيكي أنت تمنعي هالشي أو فيكي أنت لحالك تحطي شغلة على الأجندة. It doesn't work like that. Our rules require إنه شخص من الكونسل they offer it بيقدموا هالmotion وشخص ثاني لازم they have to support it.
Sure.
So there has to be an offer and then a second. And that's how things are placed on our agenda for us to vote on.
هل هذه المهام نفسها في البلديات الأخرى هل تختلف يعني مهام أو مسؤوليات رئيس المجلس عن مسؤوليات رئيس البلدية؟ يعني are these responsibilities and duties the same as in different city with the same size of Dearborn, or it's restricted to Dearborn?
So this is we are probably similar to some cities, but not every city. So everything's restricted to the city that you are elected to represent in.
Sure.
And the reason I say that every city has its own charter. يمكن يسموه دستور, like
Sure.
a constitution, right?
Yes.
For the city. And that's where the rules are for each position and what they get to do. For example, in our city, our mayor leads our city. But if the mayor is unable to lead, the second person in charge is the council president.
Okay.
So if God forbid something were to happen to the mayor, then I would become the mayor. So
Okay.
my role is council president or mayor pro tem. And I don't think that's in every single city. And the way the council president is chosen in Dearborn is based on who has the highest number of votes during elections.
Okay.
So like, for example, in Dearborn Heights, it's not like that. In Dearborn Heights, the council members get together and they choose the person to lead the council. In Dearborn, مين بيطلع له أكتر نسبة أصوات هو الشخص اللي بيكون رئيس المجلس البلد.
And that's what you got in the last election. More votes than the even senior member of the city council. You got more vote than them.
I've been blessed both times that I ran for city council. Both times I was the top vote getter and was able to accept the role as council president.
You mentioned,
and I'm grateful to all the residents that voted for me and put me in that capacity.
You mentioned, Susan, that you are also in charge or responsible on hiring and firing and things like that. بالطبع في ديربون العديد من الدوائر اللي تناط فيها مسؤولية خدمة السكان. ممكن to mention these various departments and what are their roles?
Absolutely. بس لحتى اللي يوضح شغلة, the hiring and firing is only in the council office.
Okay.
Okay. نحن in the city of Dearborn, we have what's called a civil service commission.
Sure.
So once somebody is hired, the mayor can't just fire someone on their own. There's a civil service commission that has to make decisions about that, and there's an HR department that gets involved too. So it's a little bit more involved. In terms of the different departments, we have one of the departments that I think most people are familiar with, some people may call it building and safety. It's our PMADS department. It's property maintenance and development services. Basically أي شخص بده يعمر بيت أو يجيب certificate of occupancy أو بده يفتح مصلحة business in the city of Dearborn, بده يقدم على permit, بده يجيب these things بيروح على ال PMADS department. إذا شخص بده يجيب وثيقة ولادة، نقول في ناس كتير بتسألني إنه بدي أجيب وثيقة ولادة إنه مخلفي جديد, where can I get my birth certificate, أو إنه they or any other licensing or permits, you have to go to the clerk's office.
Sure.
The clerk's office is also responsible for holding our elections. Okay, so وقت الانتخابات, the clerk's office is responsible for that. The Recreation and Parks Department is responsible to oversee all the recreational activity that goes in our city. Dearborn is known for having the most number of parks in any city in Wayne County. And recreation deals with that. Sometimes you might get in touch with recreation to buy a pool tag, a tag for our pools. We have neighborhood pools. To hold an event or a birthday party or a function at one of our facilities. If you want to rent space for our sports and athletics that go on, you will deal with our recreation department. There's also the assessors department. Mm-hmm. So obviously, if you need and treasury, if you want to pay your taxes, if you want to get information about your tax assessment, you go through the assessors department. We also have the libraries is also a separate department. So we have 3 libraries within our city, and something that we are lucky to be able to provide that service to our residents. We have engineering. They're responsible, and Department of Public Works. Okay. They're responsible for redoing our roads, our water systems, our sewer separation, a lot of things. One thing I want to mention, William, I know you're not asking me this question, but oftentimes, people ask me, "Oh, my road is." It's not well, and there's a lot of potholes or something.
No light. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we want to fix that. Or there's a light that's off in our on our street. So the Department of Public Works is who you would contact. So if there's a pothole, they will come out and fill it. If it's a city road, they'll fill it. When people ask me, طب امتى حتغيروا لنا الشارع؟ امتى حتصلحوه؟ تحطوا باتون جديد أو asphalt جديد. I have to tell people, when we redo a road, it costs approximately $1 million per 1 mile of road. Oh. One of the biggest problems that every city faces, including Dearborn, is the fact that the state does not give us the money they're supposed to give us to fix our roads. Mm-hmm. That's what Governor Whitmer ran on. But the city of Dearborn, from all the cities, has probably done one of the better jobs and the best job in terms of repairing roads or repairing the number of miles that we do per year. And part of that is because we also have to do a project which is called the sewer separation project, the CSO project.
Sure. نسمع في أحيان كثيرة سوزان إنه منصب رئيس البلدية هو منصب شكلي. I want you just to shed some light about this particular issue in the city of Dearborn. يعني is the mayor just like other or certain other city in Michigan المنصب ceremonial؟ هل هذا صحيح؟ أم
No.
إنه it's actual work?
No. The mayor's position is actually a huge responsibility. Mm-hmm. And I say this because, so remember I talked about every city has their own charter,
sure,
sort of like a constitution. Mm-hmm. So that charter dictates whether you have a mayor's strong form of government or a council or manager system in place. The city of Dearborn, the strong form of government lies with the mayor.
Okay.
So the mayor is basically the leader of all the departments within our city, except not the city council and the clerk, because the clerk is in charge of the clerk's department, and the city council is my responsibility as the council president. Mm-hmm. But the mayor is in charge of all the other departments. The mayor who will بيعين أو بشكل appointees, the department directors or the heads. for each department. هو بيقدر يحط ويشيل. Obviously أي شخص بده يحط بده ياخد permission or agreement from the city council, but he gets to make those choices. So he actually is the one that administers all the programs and the services that are being provided to our residents. So the mayor, whoever our mayor is a very, very key individual. And so when we choose who we want to be our mayor, we have to make sure we're choosing someone that we feel would be balanced, would be responsible in how they spend our dollars, and would just be an overall good leader.
طيب سوزان، شو اللي بيحدد إنه رئيس بلدية على سبيل المثال مدينة ستيرلينغ هايتس هو منصب شكلي يعني ceremonial? Who decided or who determined that this particular city mayor is ceremonial or actual? Is it the charter, as you mentioned, or the number of the population in the city?
No, it's the charter. And the way the charter is determined, so every, and I can't remember, I think it's 12 years. Maybe 10 or 12 years. My memory is not helping me right now. But every so many years, at least in the city of Dearborn, our charter is revisited.
Okay.
And the charter can only be approved by the residents of the city that live in it.
Right.
So نحن as residents in whatever city you live in, you vote to approve a charter or to reject it. Okay? And usually what happens is our charter commission is created, and the people that serve on that commission are elected.
Okay.
And they are responsible for reviewing the current charter and seeing what's going on with their city and figuring out if there should be any changes made to the charter. Then the charter is put on the ballot for the residents to vote on, to approve and accept or to reject.
Sure. طيب who financed the city? من يمول البلدية؟
So a huge portion of any city's revenue is real property taxes.
Okay.
And one thing regarding taxes, so, you know, when you pay your taxes to your city, people have to understand that not every dollar you're paying actually belongs to the city. In Dearborn, a good chunk of that money that you're paying has to go to the school board or the school district. And then another chunk of that money also goes to Wayne County. وإذا بتخليني بس وضح شغلة.
Sure.
ناس كتير خصوصي هلا وقت الكوفيد انه المدارس مسكره، بيسالوني حتفتحوا المدارس، حتسكروهم، شو حيصير، حترجعوا التلاميذ، او انه they want to know. نحن as the council, as a city council, we're not responsible for the schools. They have their own school board trustees. And I believe that's in almost every single city. But a lot of people mistake the fact they think that the city is responsible for the school district. So I just want to put that out there for the viewers.
Sure. Do you receive any financial assistance from any entity, from the state, from the federal government, and how often?
Yeah. So in addition to the revenue, the real property taxes that I stated, we do get some funding, some limited funding from the state and from the federal government. One thing that Dearborn is very good at doing, and sometimes this depends on population. So our population helps us in terms of applying for and receiving grants from the federal government and sometimes from the state. So our police department, our fire department, and some of our other departments are really good at applying for a large number of grants. And because we run our city in a way or a method that has been acceptable and appropriate for receiving these grants, we've received several grants every single year. And that really helps subsidize a lot of the work that you see us doing in our city.
Is the city of Dearborn budget must be the budget must be at the end of the year, just like the state or any major cities? It should be balanced at the end of the year, at the end of the fiscal year, or it does not matter. You can borrow money at the new year or the year after or what have you.
Very good question, William. Obviously, the city council is responsible for setting the city's budget.
Sure.
We get a recommendation or proposed budget from the mayor by April 15th of each year. That's what our charter requires. And the city council then must, vote to approve or modify or approve a modified version of that budget. And what any fiscally responsible city council would do is make sure that they adopt a balanced budget.
Okay.
If we don't adopt a balanced budget, then people should not be voting for us. Because if we have revenue of 100, our budget is about $130 million. But if our revenue is only 100 million, but we're going to spend 130 million, then I should not be, nobody should be in office if they're doing that. So
Has it been imbalanced before, at certain year in the past?
So we always vote for a balanced budget, but I will tell you something, William. ايام بيجي شغله لنقول ما كنت حاسبها حسب حسابها انه a disaster, and I'll give you an example. In 2014, when I first was serving on city council, we had the big storm, if you remember, that caused a lot of flooding. So obviously this was not something that we had placed in the budget. We were, it wasn't something that you had anticipated and had allocated money for that. And so every city should have a general fund, like a reserve.
Okay.
So the city of Dearborn has a good, healthy general fund, a reserve. So anytime things that were not anticipated that come up, we can use money from that reserve.
Okay.
But we have to be careful about something. We have to make sure that we don't use too much money from that reserve. Because whenever every city is rated for bond rating, like if you have a good bond rating, when you apply for a loan or a bond or anything like that, as a city, if you have a good bond rating, then you get lower interest rates. You get a better plan in place. And so it's very important that you have a healthy reserve for every single city. And Dearborn, we've been responsible enough to maintain that.
كيف سوزان دباجه كيف تصفين ديربون لمن لا يعرف ديربون؟ يعني ما يميز ديربون عن المدن الأخرى اللي مش موجود فيها عرب أمريكيين؟ هل ما يميز ديربون وجود العرب الأمريكيين؟ كيف تصفي؟ How do you describe Dearborn to people who do not know Dearborn?
So, one of the things that occurred, when I first began my position or serving in my position, I would get people that would send me email from different states in our nation, and they would tell me some things that would be negative about Dearborn. Some things it would be more about curiosity. They'd ask a question. And I'd always invite them to I'd say, come and take a look at Dearborn. You don't know Dearborn until you actually come and visit the place.
Sure.
And what distinguishes Dearborn from a lot of other cities is it's very diverse. It has a beautiful cultural presence in every part of our city. The food environment, the restaurants, and the diversity of the types of foods that we have here, you won't believe how many people from outside of Dearborn love to come just for the diversity and types of foods that we have to offer in the restaurants. The Arab American community has certainly helped shape what Dearborn is today in a very positive way, in my opinion. Dearborn is also diverse in its housing opportunities. And what I mean by that, people from different backgrounds living within our city, people that are looking for different things can come to Dearborn and find several different options to choose from. And what I mean by that is, if you want to live in a condo, we have condos. Apartments, we have apartments. Modest sized home, we have those. Huge, beautiful, if you want to call them mansions, we have those. We have housing available for anybody's price point. We are centrally located within our state. We are very close to downtown Detroit. So if you are a young professional that works in the city of Detroit and wants to live in the suburb, Dearborn has very quick access to Detroit. We have what I was talking about earlier. Our parks are just our park system is really fantastic for people that would like to enjoy the outdoors. We have several libraries to offer opportunity for people to go in and check out books. We have our neighborhood pools in different parts of our city so that children or adults in the summer can enjoy that. We just built a new pool here in East Dearborn that's beautiful with a slide and zero depth entry. We are well known for our public safety.
Sure.
The response times that we have for our police and fire, I think, are second to none and some of the best in the nation. And then we also have our neighborhood services that we provide. We have weekly recycling pickup. Not a lot of cities even offer a recycling pickup,
Sure.
or if they do, it's once every month or once every 2 weeks. We do it every week. So there are a lot of services and programs. We have a beautiful theater within our city. That take COVID away, and there's a lot of arts and events that occur there. So there's something for everyone in Dearborn, and it's a beautiful city to live in, and I couldn't think of a better place to raise my children here or my family.
You mentioned, Susan, one of the important maybe aspect of Dearborn, its diversity. يعني هذه الفسيفساء الجميلة بالتعددية والتنوع. خليني أسألك ما مدى الانسجام إن وجد بين المكونات المختلفة؟ يعني how harmony present itself between various group of people who are residing in the city of Dearborn?
So sometimes you will see that some of the strongest advocates for the city of Dearborn, and in particular the Arab American community within the city of Dearborn, are non-Arab Americans.
Mm-hmm.
We, as Arab Americans, we're very hospitable. We love to feed everyone. We love to invite everyone to our home. We love to help.
Sure.
And we like to be good neighbors. And when a non-Arab American resident who's been living amongst Arab Americans, they see this and they know this and they know the value to it.
Sure.
And likewise, we, as Arab Americans, we appreciate, the cultural differences and the diversity that our non-Arab residents or, neighbors provide to us. You have, during the month of Ramadan, you have people opening up their homes to their neighbors who are not Muslim, but maybe inviting them for iftar. And some of them will even, I've had, one of my colleagues, Councilman Brian O'Donnell, he fasted, just to see what it's like, and said,
Sure.
Susan, I want to share in your experience.
Mm-hmm.
Neighbors will fast so they can enjoy the experience and break fast with their Muslim neighbors. You have, we have Christmas celebrations in our city and other holiday celebrations. So there's been a good melting of the different cultures and backgrounds, and people are very much accepting. William, I'm not going to say that you won't have a few bad apples.
Sure.
On both sides or on all
Goes
sides,
without
and
saying.
that's going to happen wherever you live.
Sure.
But overall, I think Dearborn is a very accepting city, and very appreciative of the deep and rich history that it has, serving and being a home for many immigrant families, whether it's the Polish, the Italian, the Lebanese, the Yemeni, you name it. We've had it here in Dearborn, and that's what I appreciate about our city.
I believe you are absolutely correct. I remember years ago when the Honorable Judge Salim Salame ran for a judge, I sat with him and I interviewed him at that time, maybe 5-6 years ago. He told me that he received votes and support from all the city voters and all the city from the, I believe, the west end of the city, as well as from the Arab American, or more than the Arab American who are residing in the city, the voters. And
Oh
that
yeah,
is really
absolutely.
very important.
And I would agree with Judge Salami on that. When residents are going to the voting booth, they're not going to look at us if we're Arab, American, non-Arab, Polish, Italian. They're looking to see, are you qualified?
Sure.
Can you serve in that capacity in the way that they would like to see service done? And I'll also echo what Judge Salami said. When I ran, you cannot become the top vote getter or the council president in the city of Dearborn by relying simply on one group of voters. And so my votes consisted of people from all parts of our city, east, west, south, north, people that, different backgrounds, different religions, different cultural or races. So I would agree with that. I'm able to serve my residents because of all those individuals that believed in me, and there's a lot of diversity in thought and background from those individuals.
Mm-hmm. How do you market Dearborn as a mayor of Dearborn or as a president of the city council on the international level? Dearborn, it's well known on the international level in all or most of the Middle Eastern countries that it is Arab American or the capital of Arab American in Michigan. I would love to see people who never seen Dearborn, never came and visit Dearborn, and who intended to come to the United States to have back in his mind to visit Dearborn. How do you convince or market the city of Dearborn? Because it's an important city like Dearborn, it should be, in my opinion, a mecca for visitors or those who intended to come and visit the United States. If I want to come to Chicago, I would love to come and visit Dearborn, because back in my mind, I heard a lot about Dearborn. How do you do that?
So obviously, we, just sharing our attractions here in our city.
Mm-hmm.
And it's diverse attractions. So obviously, we have Warren Avenue, a long stretch of, what you can consider, a mecca for Arab American or Middle Eastern restaurants and grocery stores and spice stores and anything that you would want to buy if you were in the Middle East. Almost anything you can get over here just simply visiting that part of our city. In addition, we have a long history of, the change that's happened within our auto industry. We are the home for one of the largest automakers in the world, Ford Motor Company. So if people want to take a tour of their factories, we also have Greenfield Village and the Henry Ford Museum that has the history of not only our city but of our nation, and you can come in and see that. We have our own historical museum that can also showcase the development of Dearborn, and that includes the different immigrant families or immigrant populations that affected and shaped the way our city is. We have a variety of different restaurants, and whatever your taste buds love, we can offer it, basically. We have bike trails and walking trails that are quite beautiful within our city for those that are interested in doing a scenic route.
Sure.
So there's a wide variety of things, and like I said earlier, we have our theater, which provides a wide array of events or performances that are put on there, and that includes cultural things, whether, we've had famous singers from the Middle East sing right here in our backyard, as well as other cultural performances from different cultures. So, there's just so much that can be offered and seen here in Dearborn. So I highly encourage people to add Dearborn as one of their pit stops if they're in the United States.
I must tell you that I'm really very much enjoying this the conversation, and I hate to end it, but I remember that our next session, as I told you in my email, will be maybe at the end of February. We'll talk about economic development in the city of Dearborn, and maybe in May or June or July we'll talk about other important issues encountering not only the Arab American, but every single person who are living in Dearborn.
I would love to, William. I enjoy the conversation as well, and I look forward to future conversations.
Thank you very much. أعزائي المشاهدين، سوزان دباجه رئيس المجلس البلدي في بلدية ديربورن في ديربورن اللي هي عاصمة العرب الأمريكيين. سوزان دباجه مثال رائع للمرأة العربية وللمرأة الأمريكية المميزة. Thank you very much and I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you, William.
أعزائي المشاهدين، شكرا لإصغائكم ومتابعتكم، وحتى ألتقي معكم في الأسبوع القادم في حلقة جديدة من هذا البرنامج. لكم مني ومن أسرة البرنامج أجمل تحية، والسلام عليكم.